All right, welcome. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework that some of the world's most successful organizations use to keep things running smoothly. It's called the three lines model. So, have you ever stopped to think about a huge company like Apple or Amazon, or even a massive government agency? I mean, they have millions of moving parts all across the globe. How on earth do they manage to stay on track and not just spiral into total chaos? Well, it turns out the answer isn't some secret, incredibly complicated formula. It's actually a surprisingly simple playbook that keeps everyone, from the top executives all the way to the frontline staff, totally aligned and focused on the same big goals. Okay, let's dive in. Probably the easiest way to wrap your head around this whole thing is to just picture a championship sports team, right? Every single player has a specific role, the coaches have a crystal clear strategy, and the entire organization is focused on just one thing: winning. First up, let's look at the team that's actually on the field. This is all about management's responsibility, and it's broken down into two really distinct but related roles. So first, you have the first line, and you can think of these as your players on the field. They're the ones who are directly interacting with customers, delivering the product or the service. This is your sales team, your engineers, your customer support folks. Then you've got the second line. These are like the specialist coaches on the sidelines. They aren't playing the game directly, but they bring in all this expertise in crucial areas like legal, compliance, and IT security. They're there to help the first line manage risk and perform at their absolute best. Now, this is maybe the most important takeaway, so listen up. These lines aren't separate departments in some rigid top-down chart. They are roles, and, crucially, they're all operating at the exact same time. The players and the coaches are constantly talking and working together throughout the entire game. Okay, so you've got your players and you've got your coaches, but who makes sure the game is being played fairly? Well, that brings us to our independent referee, the third line. The third line is typically internal audit. Now, don't let that term sound intimidating. An audit is really just an official check to make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to. So their job is to be that impartial referee. They give independent and objective assurance, which is basically just a trustworthy check-in that the team is playing by the rules and is actually on track to hit its goals. And this right here is exactly why they have to be separate. The key idea is that their independence is absolutely critical. I mean, you can't have a referee who's also playing for one of the teams, right? That would totally undermine their objectivity, not to mention the credibility of the entire game. So to make sure they stay independent, the referee reports what they find not just to the coaches and players on the field, but also directly to the governing body. Think of them as the team owners or even the league itself. This makes sure there's total accountability, starting from the very top. Okay, so we've got our players, our coaches, and our referee. But what's the whole point? Well, in sports, it's about winning the championship. In the business world, it's all about creating and protecting value. And this is the winning formula that makes it all click. It really boils down to three simple things. First, clear communication, so everybody knows the game plan. Second, cooperation, so all the different parts are actually working together. And finally, collaboration, which makes sure every single action is aligned towards that one big goal of creating value. And that's the real magic of the three lines model. When it's working the way it should, you don't really have three separate lines at all. What you have is one single aligned team. Everyone knows their position, and everyone plays their role for one simple purpose: to win the game by creating and protecting value. So that's the big picture playbook. But what about the specific positions on this team? Next up, we're going to zoom in on those key player roles. So, who exactly are these key players and what are their specific responsibilities on the field? We're going to break all of that down in our next explainer on the key roles in the three lines model. Hope you'll join us for that one.